in favor of Misfits. And I mean, towards the end of it, they did do very well. So very, very strong play.
Very strong play. Can they do it again here on game number 2? Let's find out which battleground we are going to as we just finished up on the Infernal Shrines. Now, I'm expecting probably either some first solo, maybe Towers of Doom, some battlegrounds that we've seen from both teams in the past. So Braxis Holdout ban, Battle Fraternity ban, Infernal Shrines was our pickup. Where are we going to? We are going to Towers of Doom.
And the choice of map was by Misfits. So beGenius, yeah, beGenius opted for first pick over that.
They wanted their Tychus. I'm calling it now.
Maybe.
They want that Tychus, man. As they're so comfortable with it, and it hasn't been working out for them. But it kind of bolsters this like double warrior that they like to run for a lot. So maybe they can go to their roots here and see if they can handle the draft against Misfits. However, something to start thinking about is the overall strategy of grabbing a bell tower and just camping on your opponent. We need to start seeing our teams really draft for that and be ready for holding that push that comes your way.
Yeah, it's looked quite fearsome in our series from Dignitas and then our series from Fnatic going up against Team Expert. I think people do have to consider the poke, definitely. I mean, you have to consider the poke anyway, considering altars. Never mind the idea of bell tower. So yeah, it's definitely something to keep in mind.
Well, let's start the draft. Towers of Doom, beGenius facing off against Misfits. 4-0 Misfits taking on the 0-4 beGenius. To the left, our first ban will be for beGenius. What do they take away from their opposing members? Last draft, it was Ragnaros, and I think you have to go that route anyways here, especially with being Towers of Doom.
Unless they want it themselves. It's such a weird spot to be in, because now them saying, okay, we want first pick in the draft, that means that they want to try and dictate the draft. And I don't know whether you can against Misfits. I think there's so much that Misfits can play very, very well.
You know what? I would like Misfits not to ban out Tacit right here and take him. They keep it, though. I don't see beGenius taking that hero.
No? You don't think?
I don't think so. I haven't seen them draft around putting a lot of their tools into their assassin. I guess Tassadar would be the one that finally enables it, but I feel like they wouldn't move that route. I feel like they would still take Tychus first over the Tassadar.
Yeah, maybe.
Regardless, no bluffs are called today.
I think that as much as the Tychus is strong for them, they might go down the ETC path and try and get Kirova back on Li Ming again, because it's good on this map. But that remains to be seen.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about, like, so they wanted first pick. How would they try and dictate the draft? They would try and take something away from their opponents. It might just be Tychus.
I think they're just afraid of it, yeah. They go straight to Tychus, man. Tychus and Malfurion is just their go-to so much here in the HGC. And it hasn't had a chance to pay off for it, but as we alluded to, after our first introduction of these teams, they've hit a lot of hard speed bumps. That's for sure on the way here. And they'll continue to grind it out here. Malfurion will be the pickup for Misfits, and there's that Zeratul that you were asking for.
This is mostly what I wanted them to ban. I am very fearful myself of Neurok Zeratul. I think it is really potent, very, very potent indeed. So as much as, yeah, getting rid of Ragnaros is something that they wanted to do, I think getting rid of Zeratul is more important.
So do we see beGenius take away Jaina here? Or do they just ban it out on their ban phase? Here they need to build out their foundation for their team. Their must picks, which in the past has been Malfurion, but Malfurion has been taken by the opposing team. Their Li Ming could be taken here, but that would be super damage heavy compared to a team that loves to run warriors.
I think you leave Jaina to your ban, and then you look for something else. I would like to see Kirivas, as I say, on Li Ming. I think that's where they're going to have plays happen for them if they're to go up against a team like Misfits. ETC is always a good choice. ETC and Rhaegar, okay.
Okay. Well, they get their front line, they get their hero to bolster their front line. It's kind of screams out double warrior for me. Is there any warrior in particular that Misfits would not like to have and don't want to face against? I don't think so. I think if they leave up Diablo and Jaina, you take them both and you have incredible engage. You have a solid wombo combo, and you just follow up with a 5th auto attacker.
I guess this ban could either be a Li Ming or something like a Johanna or an Arthas. Let me think. Arthas is probably the better ban for me.
Especially against beGenius.
Yeah,
A Danatan.
I'm trying to think what causes Zeratul more problems. Is it Arthas or is it Johanna? The one thing is, like, if it's Arthas, then Trail of Thrust at 13 has got an easier time of locking down an invisible Zeratul. Maybe Arthas.
Well, Johanna stops combinations. Zarya is the one being highlighted here.
I guess they're afraid of the idea of the next 2 picks being Zarya and Valor, because maybe they just don't want Valor themselves.
Well, this has to be a Jaina man.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't see another route.
I think so.
And then Misfits can think about what they want to pick up. I like the Vala that you discussed already.
All right, well, we're just waiting for... Okay, so we think it's going to be Jaina. Anything else that you can think of whilst they're doing it?
If you don't mind doing with Jaina and you want to go at Nubrak, you ban Diablo instead. Oh, wow. They're going to hover the Falstad pit, man.
I don't know about that one.
So Misfits takes Jaina here?
I guess they wanted to make sure that ETC has a good option for his Mosh and doesn't have as big a counter, but I don't see any world where Misfits doesn't pick Jaina and something else now.
Dahaka, Diablo, the options become pretty solid for them.
Yeah, Jaina and Dahaka for me, and then that's... I mean, we haven't actually really seen Dahaka today at all.
Well,
did he have changes in this patch?
I don't think so.
Okay,
Well,
whatever the case. I think that he hasn't had much impact because I still play him and I still have very heavy success with him because he's amazing.
Oh, wow. Dahaka
Varian.
Wow. So Jaina just gets through this entire draft here. It seems that the tides are changing for our teams.
I mean, they still have the potential to pick it up later on.
Or Misfits thinking, well, if we take Jaina here, that opens up beGenius to go for a Nubrak. But now they have to decide on their 4th and 5th before we get to pick our 5th slot. So now we have the Vala choice.
Yeah.
Or we have the Jaina choice. Tychus and Vala together, while strong, is probably not the main route that we would see from a beGenius team.
And looking at the composition for Misfits right now, we are still waiting on Hasuob's hero, which he's a great Jaina. So, yeah, it's...
And Li Ming, like, they have so many tools based on what beGenius goes for them to slot into.
All right, beGenius. So what have we got? I would still like Li Ming on this side. I really would. For them to give to Kirova, but he's probably going to end up being the Tychus unless Arakine's going to pick that up because they kind of interchange with who's going to play that.
I think it's going to be Li Ming a Nubrak or Li Ming
do they think about Jaina themselves, though?
Toronto Whisper Windu.
What the?
Out of nowhere. And the Thrall. Okay, then. All right. Well, Taronda's Owl build can be strong here. I don't think we're going to go Owl build, though.
It's a wild card that I wanted. You know, I mean, not necessarily the one that I wanted, but it's a wild card to bring to the table here against Misfits, who they know is the big favorite. They go Varian Li Ming. Well, obviously the Varian being there before, but Li Ming's going to couple with him very nicely. Ooh.
So they have great poke for the altar phases. Toronto can be strong in that area. They have lockdown potential. However, they do have a team that can milk quickly. If Varian gets the engage in to Li Ming follow-up, Taronda could die instantly. Thrall, to a degree, if she doesn't get Spell Shield, or he doesn't get Spell Shield, can be burned down as well. Luckily, they had double support to kind of mitigate that push, but there's some strength here.
I would sort of like Shadowstalk.
Yeah.
Maybe that would be the way.
Then you go for the engages off the minimap, run into the power slide, and get engaged on anyone you want there. Yeah, you get sustained healing through.
Keep an eye on Zeratul.
Yeah. I think Starfall is one of my favorites against Zeratul, though. The slow that you get from there is really powerful.
True.
Also, when Varian goes in for the engage, you drop the Starfall literally right behind them, and you can focus down the Varian.
But does the Starfall gain power and momentum against a hero like Zeratul when in his current form? He's so back and forth everywhere with his current
that's
build.
the thing, too, is he wants to be back and forth, but if his team gets locked down by the Starfall because he's been hit by a massive AoE slow / damage, he's kind of forced to come back in, and you get the engage that you finally want. I don't know. We'll find out here as we go into game number 2. Towers of Doom popping up for our teams here. Misfits currently leading 1-0.
All right. Everything's on the table here for beGenius to the left-hand side with Unstable playing Rehgar. We'll have Danatan Gideon playing ETC. Next up on the table, it's Arakine going to be on the Tychus. We will have Kirva playing the Tyrande. And finally, Tank for the win playing the Thrall. We'll be keeping good eyes on Kirva here on his beautiful unicorn.
to the far right. Here we are, Misfits, Splendor here. We're playing Blumby. Going to be showing off the hero as well. Dark Mach down here on the bottom right with Dahaka. Hasawabs will be showing his Li Ming. And of course, last but not least, we have Nurok here showing off that Zeratul.
That I will be keeping an eye on. He's a terror on this hero. An absolute terror. I think what will happen is, if or when Misfits wins this game, Zeratul will be the next ban for beGenius, because we will see. We will see.
So, looking at the build here, Tyrande has already started with the Empower here. So anytime that the Sentinel does connect, the cooldowns are instantly reduced by 2 seconds. Pretty darn strong when you mix it with Pierce and you go Owl build. You can really just start to chunk out that damage. It's inflated damage, but some damage that can give you control on the battleground here. So we'll watch and see how that curves. Thrall, though, picked up already here, and the top lane for beGenius as Misfits is going to make a big call.
It looks like it was down to a Zeratul roam, and when it comes to as they try and rotate to get up here just to soak, but even that is fraught with danger. As Hasawabs on this Li Ming and Nurok here just posing a very big threat. So, scary times. Again, they can't fall behind too early. The problem is that Thrall went for a block and still has died off in this early game. This is designed to keep him alive, but not to be the case, unfortunately, for Tank for the win.
Not to be the case. Engaged from Misfits a little bit too much there with the Dahaka getting that drag, and of course Zeratul showing up. So our rotations will be okay for a little bit here for our blue team, beGenius. They got some decent clear with Rhaegar being available on the field. I am fearful if they start to lose, what is their answer to dealing with a push coming their way. Dahaka with Primal Swarm will continue to push that top lane and get brushed up at any point. At the same time, the 4-man rotation for Misfits is relatively solid too for their own hard engages.
Nice attempt at an invade here by beGenius. Love this little movement that they're making, but the longer they stay here to try and invade, the more ground they are giving up on the map, because Dahaka can just reinforce in other locations if he does have his Brush Stalker. So
aggressive play by Thrall here, and this is actually empowered by the Sentinel. He moves to the top right, he takes the altar, nice. And the scouting from Tyrande actually empowered him to do that.
All right, yeah, that was good. So I gotta say, as much as he did die early game, that little play made up for it. Oh, gone for Envenom as well. All right, so a little bit more power extra in this early game. He needs to make use of it. He needs to try and find some pickups here or there with the rest of his team. It decreases in value compared to the Chain Lightning build as the game goes on, I would say.
Yeah, it's more of a kill potential. If you get that on the Li Ming, you're going to be having a hard time.
Yeah.
So 2 altars has actually been grabbed for beGenius, and they're making a play for a 3rd altar down here.
Great start.
For you trying to mains at home, first off, that's very cool of you. Second off, we have got the Pierce here for level 4. Ooh, big Lunar Flare. Hitting Hasawabs, followed up into another Sentinel. Danatan, though, on the back right, is getting focused down, is going to be able to walk away, but Splendor follows up in the last second auto attack. Another Lunar Flare comes out. Dark Mach low on HP, and he will fall as well. 2 members down for the Misfits.
Yeah, good cleanup by Arcane as Dahaka was marked. So that is very good. One thing I was scared for beGenius is the season control of all of these altars, but they were falling behind in experience. But those couple of kills that we just saw come in for them tied things up really, really nicely. So those fears have been dispelled on my side, and I'm happy to see beGenius now take a small lead in terms of experience.
Yeah. 40 to 28 running all 3 altars. I don't think we've seen that here in the HGC, even with Viking comps.
Yeah, I think this is the first time we've seen all 3 go to a team. Nice.
Counter and jungle comes in though as Nurok will move in for the fight. Mercenary camps are going to be stolen here by the Misfits. They just need to watch out for the Lunar Flare and the Power Slide combo.
Are they doing no, there's no way. There's no way they could have kind of breached onto that location without Danatan taking a lot of damage in the process. So good to give that up, I think. Can't really... Oh, nice Power Slide! Can they clean them up before they get any? Oh, that was a shame. The Power Slide was brilliant by Danatan.
Yeah, and then Danatan did the knockback, and the Lunar Flare was coming in for the extra stone as well. Unfortunately, not working out, but still, clever use of holding that push. Hasawabs helping out with the engage. There's Blumby on the right as well. Now, level 7, it gets much better for Misfits. They get cleansed, so they don't have to worry about this Lunar Flare and the Mark combo anymore.
Yeah.
As long as they hit that cleanse, they should be good to go. And for the power spike of this comp that beGenius has starts to fall off a little bit. But of course, there is the follow-up Lunar Flare. After the cooldown does expire, you have your engages. So playing around cleanse is very important for beGenius. as we head into what I would consider the early to mid game, as we watch out for this comp that it can be so powerful for locking down members. Xanatan continuing with the aggression, Blumby on the right here, but there is 4 people already set up for the Misfits trying to help out.
Not bad, looking for the lockdown onto Blumby, and they get it once again. Very, very nice here. They're really making work happen with this Tyrande comp, I must admit. And now, 2 shrines towards the top, 2 altars. I could envisage a moment here where they get both of them with the amount of pressure that's being put on towards the bot.
Especially with the mercenaries, that pressure you just talked about, going towards that fort. Misfits will have to deal with that, or they have to give it up to the move of the altars.
Yeah, and sorry, just to kind of talk about what we're seeing here at the moment is that this stat, it makes sense for this map. Tyrande has such good control on this map. You mentioned before the fact that Owl build is very strong. That's the least, that's the last thing I wanted to see as an example for why the Owl build is really strong. It went through the middle of them. But when it hits, it's very strong. PS is also very strong. Right, okay, just ignore everything I was about to talk about when it comes to...
You've cursed him.
Yes.
You've cursed the Tyrande pickers out there.
I am the true curse of Heroes of the Storm. Not only for cause, but also for when I start talking about a hero.
Yeah, the piercing damage and the cooldown reduction can be good on Tyrande if they are connecting. That's the problem. If they do not connect, you're missing out on some of that power that is available for the Albion.
But also Lunar Blaze at level 7, you know, just increasing the range of the Lunar Flare to just be able to kind of delay altars as well.
Well, that makes it easier too for Tyrande to sit in the back line to play more Malfurion-esque.
Yeah.
One of the problems with the Tyrande comp is that she melts quickly if she's jumped on.
Yes.
So getting Lunar Blaze gives you that range that you can sit back and still supplement the ETC power slide mosh pits.
The one thing that you have to be careful of when you're playing a Tyrande is that as much as you've got Lunar Blaze, which is a very long range now with the Lunar Flare, but also these PS talents, etc. for your Owls, the one thing that you really want is to make someone vulnerable with your Hunter's Mark, but you don't have any way to extend the range of that. So you do still have to be a little bit forwards in your positioning if you really want to get the most out of Tyrande's kit.
Well, Blumby going for an engage here. We'll bring in that Warbringer. Xanatan does get the cleanse from Unstable, but still being focused down. And we do have Nurok in the back, though. Big Ancestor healing comes out to save Xanatan, but that was a full retreat. Oh my gosh, massive Sundering into a Void Prison, into Lunar Flare. There is a Starfall.
Yeah, Starfall has been picked up, and so does Sundering as well, as you were mentioning. So technically these things kind of synergize against one another, so beGenius is going to have to be very careful about how they coordinate their heroic usage against the combinations from Misfits.
Misfits walk away, saving a majority of their heroics, except for the Void Prison, and now with 2 altars activating here, one in the middle and one in the bottom. They are primed to take away an altar or 2, especially with Sundering not being up for another 38 seconds. All they have to do is not get picked off by beGenius and a Lunar Flare combo, and they should be good to go.
Trying to slow down those sappers, but not to be here as they get themselves a gate and a wall. Not too bad overall, considering that that tower was a little bit wounded. Ooh, Hasselhoff's almost catching Xanatan with some missiles there. He would have liked to have, just so they know exactly where he is. ETC getting locked down there for the moment. Taunt's been used onto him. They're looking to try and pluck him off. That's a lot of AoE damage coming out from beGenius. Darmok in the backline is trying to kill off the Tychus, but ETC will fall, and Misfits is rallying against the cause here.
Yeah, they're pushing him in. We're going to be having Blumby with engage here. Kirwa is walking out. There is the Lunar Blaze coming out. Big Sundering hitting as well, but it's not enough. I want to call out Splinter, though, as we watch Hasselhoff going off with his Li Ming play here. Splinter, I feel like, has stopped 3 ETC mosh pits in the entire HGC the last couple of weeks. Yeah. His positioning when it comes to Twilight Dream and stopping those mosh pits has always been spectacular. Yeah,
maybe he was the most improved player of 2016, and I think not across Europe, I think across the world. And he's bringing that into 2017 as well, and looking very, very good about it. So, yeah, he rounds out Misfits so nicely.
That he does. The Mercenaries will put some pressure on the bottom fort. The bell tower is low, can be picked off later. No major priority, though, for the Misfits here. You can pick that up later when you need it, when the next altars do spawn, to get that pressure on your opponent. Zeratul, at the same time, has peeled off to soak the middle lane and the top lane, moving towards that goal of level 13 for his team. Unstable and Tank for the win are here for that defense, but things are starting to look a little bit painful here for beGenius.
Just pings everywhere, just as they keep the communication up here. And another attempt at taking a camp down towards the bottom. They will have that trade-off, though, towards the top. I'm wondering how much wall damage has been done up there. So the wall is down up towards the top. That means those sappers can do quite a lot. It's up to Misfits now to go down to the bottom, likewise beGenius to go to the top and slow down the sappers, because otherwise they could easily take bell towers.
Well, they got the root, they got hospital ops here for the defense as well, big orb as well, and yes, they will hold for now. And the Mercenaries do collide with the fort in the top left.
Yeah, so the delay was more successful for Misfits than it was for beGenius. They didn't realize, I suppose, the severity of the situation. As now Kirva just going to try and do some damage towards mid. They're going to take out ETC, though, are Misfits. Lumby very low. He goes down, and there's going to be a few more kills left and right here towards the bottom as Tychus and Rehgar will end up falling.
Hossawabs with the wave of 4. It's not going to take for the win in trouble, and that is 4 people picked off for beGenius, and almost we had Blumby walk away, but the Void Prison from Zeratul on Nurok set up those 2 takedowns.
Do you remember when you coined you said it like 2 weeks ago or something, like Li Ming popping off? She's really been popping off this game. She's like 30,000 hero damage compared to the closest to her, which is 16,000 on Tychus on the other side. So Hossawabs just playing like a legend.
Hossawabs being destructive here, showing those veteran powers as he's just constantly keeping up with it. Lunar Flare comes out. Hossawabs will sidestep, continues to walk away, has saved its teleport in case he needs to get away. However, an altar does spawn in the bottom. Blumby comes up to show up for the engage here. Hossawabs, though, does have his poke here and Splendor to reinforce his mana as it's being depleted. Dahaka actually is getting ready for the brush talk. He did come down and now he can move in. Unstable starting the channel. Can they stop it? Ooh, big knockback here from Dantan, and Unstable will take the altar and secure 3 shots for his team.
They're losing top bell tower though as well while this is going on, and they're retreating into a bell tower. This is, thankfully they've got the wave there to try and help them get out from this spot with those 3 last archers there, but
no Void Prison for 10. Or that could have been the engage. That was a very scary moment for beGenius, but they walk away here as the Void Prison comes up in 3 seconds.
That was very scary. All right, so let's see how they're going to play this little camp out. Are they going to try and invade it before 16? Looks like they are. Overflowing Light is the choice at level 13, so providing extra healing for his team, for Kirva. Don't mind it, just to get that extra sustain in, but Danatan's going to have Ancestral Healing popped onto him quite quickly. Looks like they are going to give this up. That's going to be the Void Prism to lock down 4 members. I don't think they follow it up. I just think they retreat out here.
Darkmonk in trouble, though. He's going to be able to use that Swarm to possibly get through.
A lot of AoE damage he's pushing out there for his death.
He's just down.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really hard engage. The Starfall that was put down was helpful from Kirwa to keep out the opposing team possible. They either had to fully engage or just sit on the outskirts. And they chose to sit on the outskirts, which gave beGenius a chance there to go for the power slide. Dantan shows up with another power slide, though, and we suddenly have Blumby and Tribble is able to retreat away.
This is one thing that beGenius is doing better than most teams, actually, that we've seen on Towers of Doom, invading these camps. They've invaded that one like every single time and almost got it every single time. That's been really, really good stuff from them. Escorting this on now, looking to try and seize control of this battleground. Good pace for them.
That it is. And the 3 altars will now spawn. Big Lunar Flare once again. Blumby in trouble. Isn't get the heal. He turns around for the engage. There is a taunt. Danatan getting focused down. And now Hossawab is getting his resets. There goes another big engage as well. Darkmonk on the back left. Chasing down. Does have a dragon in a couple of seconds. Can he connect it?
Too far.
Too far away. Nurok trying to slow it down. Big wave of force. But now the reward. 3 altars here, Calaris.
Yes, so that's very good for them. I'm wondering if they try and put on a little bit of pressure towards top bell tower to get that, but I don't think so. They'll just try and capture these. Oh, that's a bit of a shame. Hasu actually chained the lightning towards our Darkmonk there and denies him from actually getting that full thing, but this is going to be kills.
Oh my gosh!
God. That wasn't a kill, that was a disintegration.
That's why this combo is so strong, Calaris. You get the taunt, you get the guard, easy pickings for a skilled Li Ming player. Mirror ball straight up into the orb, and that was a dead thrall for the team.
Yeah, that was brutality. That was a Mortal Kombat finisher. That was. Rips his spine out and lets him go. Sorry, mate. Poor Thrall. And now gives extra pressure here because Thrall's not here to sunder. That's one of the big threats taken away from Misfits to just get this bell tower and back on out.
Well, Nurok on the back left, Dantan low on health. Nurok continuing the chase. Hossawab will be forced to retreat though, with the totem coming out. This fort is low down to, what is that, a quarter health? And remember, that fort is still in trouble in the top lane.
Yeah, they can't get this now because Thrall's about to come back. So Misfits is going to have to back on out. They want to continue the fight here just in case someone steps out of position because it's 16 versus 15 or 17 versus 15. But that's not to be. beGenius has some good sustain available to them, especially since Prog Rock is getting closer to finishing. So once that does finish, then they'll have great sustain with Overflowing Light and Rhaegar.
beGenius keeping up with their invades, but Misfits has made a alteration. They set up their Nurok on the back left. Big Void Prison coming in. All 5 members are currently in the Void Prison. Big Orb comes out, and boom! There goes Rhaegar. More in trouble. Blumby goes for the engage. They're tanking through the Starfall, and all 5 members are pushing down the team. Hasuobs is having a field day. Massive wipe there of all 5 members of beGenius, and now they can take towers.
Huge playmaking move there, massive, and that almost assures them the victory here. We can take a look at that again just to kind of highlight exactly what went down. So the Void Prism is massive. The combination coming out from Hasuobs, he is doing big killer damage. Actually teleports in there once again. Oh, geez. I think he probably did about 15,000 damage in that fight. That was insane.
And they now take all the bell towers on the map, and here's an altar as well, as beGenius hasn't even had a chance to defend yet. All of that came down to Nurok, and Misfits identifying that beGenius continue to invade on the clock, and so they set up a flank for that big, massive Void Prison, Nurok being the key contributor there. Nice heads-up play by Misfits to take beGenius out and punish them. Big engage here as well. Ancestral comes out. Hasu up here for as well. And beGenius, man, they are just laying down. Here comes the ETC. I want to be a part of the party too. Taken out of the fight, and now 7 shots left. Tychus is working on the middle fort, but it's game over.
He tried to come through to Mosh Pit, and that's why we're seeing it on that cooldown, but yeah, all a little bit late. Misfits having fun with this one as they dive into the kill zone. They take the game. That's 2-1. Or in fact, 2-0, I should say, for Misfits.
ETC wanting to party a little too hard there. Unfortunately, not being able to make their opponents dance. That's going to be a game as Misfits, as you mentioned, going up 2-0.
Yeah.
Very close to looking like a 3-0. But again, we like the wildcard pick of Tyrande. It just started to fall apart so heavily. And also, something that you have to note is that occasionally, sometimes teams will allow you to do things like constantly keep invading your mercenary camp because they'll make the adjustment in the end game to wipe you. And that's what happened there. You have to keep that heads-up play. Yeah,
definitely. I really did like some of the moves there from beGenius. Again, it kind of like trying to assert their own dominance on Misfits there to get them the win, but looking at the numbers towards the end when I said that he might have got like 15,000 damage done in that team fight, he got like 10,000 damage done, which is insane.
That it is. Game 3 coming up. We'll be right back. Misfits and beGenius facing off. Misfits leads 2-0.
Everything that I do in my life is working towards getting on to the big stage of video gaming.
I don't want to get second place this year. Like, I'm going for first. I won't be happy unless we win.
My name is Andrew Rodriguez, and I go to University